Welcome to the official catch-up. Today I've got Ger Rossi, club captain of Vale of Leithen. How are you doing, Ger?
Hi, thanks very much for having me on, inviting me on. It's been quite an interesting few weeks of it. It's been obviously quite difficult, I think, for everyone
Yep.
at the moment. So I think we're just trying to stay as positive as we can, and obviously we know football to talk about. It's obviously been a bit frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And how are you getting on, Ger? How are you
As I said, I think it's quite difficult. I think we're obviously under sort of government legislation that only allows us out sort of for one sort of walk a day, one bit activity a day. So there's only so much you can actually really get in during the day, and obviously it gets a bit sort of boring looking at the walls around you. But I think we're all in the same boat. We've all just got to try and make the best of what we can out of what we've got at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep saying it, but it's true that this is the reason why I'm reaching out to you guys, because I know, on previous occasions, guys might have had training, or there's no excuse now. Basically, everyone's at home, so it's fantastic to be able to speak to you, like to yourself. Obviously, we've chatted before and through DMs and stuff on Twitter, but I'm happy that you've came on to discuss the situations and stuff, how you're getting on. Have you had any sort of advice from Ando? Is he give you any routines or that, or any of the lads' routines?
I think basically with everything that's went on, I think Candle's just happy that the takeaways have shut as well. I think that's one of the biggest things for our squad, certainly. No, I think all joking aside, it's as I said, it's quite difficult. You're limited to what you can kind of do, and obviously there's a lot of hours in a day to fill, and it's not been easy. The one thing I would say is that the boys in the group chat, I don't know if Ando would agree with the group chats that go on nowadays, but it's been kind of a bit of a godsend for us, because the boys are putting in wee bits and bobs of what they're kind of doing. So it kind of does give you a wee bit of a push to actually go out and do something for yourself. So it has been difficult. I think Candle's tried to send the message out that we've got to look after ourselves. We're obviously not aware of the kind of situation that's going to arise from the league, and how they're going to kind of dictate what happens next. So it is a case of just trying your best to tick over, and I think Andrew trusts us enough to kind of do that for ourselves.
Yeah, and I've spoke to obviously guys like Nathan Austin and Kelty, from their situation, their point of view and stuff, and obviously I'll probably end up organising things with likes of Bonnie Rig and whoever else, but just trying to get in around every club basically in the next few weeks. And Vale and yourself, the club in itself, is a bit of a talking point. I know some people want to see us get relegated for the season you've had, but from my point of view, and I've said it numerous times, I think it's at this point in time, if football can't continue, I think it's really unfair on you guys. I mean, you're 3 points away from Dalbeattie, two games in hand over Edinburgh Uni, and I did see your tweet obviously about the postponement. If you had played Dalbeattie, I mean, you could have been all square on points. So I just don't see how it should affect you guys. I don't know what your point of view is on that, Ger, but I would hate to see you get relegated without any more football being played, basically.
I think everyone, like, that's what makes football so great. Everyone's got an opinion, and until we're told otherwise, our opinion will be that there was still a lot to go. Certainly within the season, we still had Dalbeattie, as you said, to play. We still had Gretna as well, who was in and around us. So in our sort of opinion, we still had plenty to look forward to, and I can understand that a lot of teams will want at the top of the league will they want to win it, and they'll probably feel that teams at the bottom deserve to go down. So I can understand that opinion, but certainly from being part of the team that find ourselves at the other side of the division, I think it's a bit unfair to kind of demote somebody because of the kind of current situation we find ourselves in. So it's a difficult one. I think it's we're going to have to accept whatever kind of comes along from the SFA and the governing bodies in that respect. But certainly from a personal opinion perspective, I think we still had a lot to to kind of look forward to, and we still had plenty of opportunities to get ourselves out of the situation we did find ourselves in.
Yeah, and it's been a tough season for you guys, obviously, and we've kind of reached out to Ando a few times. I think Sean's probably organising something with him. He's obviously spoken to Ando before. It's Ando, obviously, that he's got beaten the Scottish Cup at Fort William and stuff, and you've kind of went on, and I don't think teams like yourself get enough credit, like yourself and Dalbeattie, for example. I know a lot of people are looking at likes of Boness and Hillabeef and all these sort of East former juniors, and like, oh, they should be in the Lowland League. But you guys have survived. The whole time you've been in the Lowland League, you guys have clawed and survived, and that's why I always try and give you guys credit when you do get results, and you have.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's sometimes Ando doesn't get enough credit. The club, obviously, again at the lower end of the scale in terms of budgets and stuff, and they kind of survive sort of week to week. So I think something of the achievement of staying in the Lowland League for a club like the Vale of Leithen, it's massive, and sometimes that can kind of get missed a little bit due to the results that obviously haven't been good enough this season. I think as a player you kind of have to hold your hands up and admit to that, but certainly for Ando's record and the sort of time he's been at the Vale of Leithen, he's certainly found a way to keep him in that division. So as I said previously, it's obviously looking at this season, and you can only go on where we are currently, and I think as players we'd be lying if we said that we felt we had been good enough this year and competitive enough. But at the end of the day, I think that it's easy to miss the fact that the Vale do deserve to be in that division at times.
For the last few seasons, among the sort of smaller squads, if you will, I don't know if that's, I talked to Neil Hastings, the gala yesterday, I think, where you are, it's sometimes getting issues getting boys in it and stuff, and you've had a probably one of the younger squads this season in the Lowland League, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's obviously you're asking a lot of young guys to step up, and they've got to step up very quickly, which, at times this year, we have struggled in that respect. Again, when we're kind of talking about budgets, it's sadly the situation that the Vale are in, that we've not had enough sort of experience to kind of help the younger boys this year. And I certainly know from obviously speaking to Ando quite a lot about situations in the team. He's hardly he's never really had a set team that he's played week in, week out. So it's kind of changed every week, and obviously if a couple of older players are not playing, then you're asking a lot of young boys to go and kind of compete against like some of the players that you mentioned earlier, especially at Kelty, guys that have played at the top level. So it is a big ask. It was never going to be easy. I think Ando makes that clear when he signed for the Vale. It's you've got to certainly be up for the battle, and it's not that the boys have not been up for that sort of said battle. It's just sometimes it's the competition you're up against. It is asking a lot.
Yeah, completely agree. One thing I do have to ask, and I hear it more and more often as the days go by, but how's the hair at the moment, mate?
The hair?
Yeah, I usually grow my hair in the winter, so I stupidly waited too long to get a haircut, so my hair's quite long, so that's why I'm never on camera.
I'm on the same boat. As soon as you had said that, I wasn't sure if it was like a Skype call or what it was going to be. I was reaching for the old Shockwaves gel.
I don't think he's got enough credit, and the bigger teams. I don't think the players as such, but I think the fans of the bigger teams sometimes look down on the likes of yourselves, and because I know a wee bit about, not saying they don't, but because I kind of know that inner workings, if you will, sometimes I do feel for you guys. But is it going to be harder as it goes on for you guys to stay in the Lowland League with all the former East Juniors, and obviously we're getting the West of Scotland League teams coming in now?
Definitely. I think, like you'd said, you've mentioned a few names again that I've had very, sort of historically very good and done very well in the sort of junior setup. So we're kind of under no illusions that it's every year's tougher. It's more competitive, and that's great for Scottish football. I think that's what it needs. And there'll be a lot of guys, with the opinion that a club like the Vale, probably will at some point or some stage find their way to kind of where the level is. However, as I said before, he's certainly got an ethic of, when you're at the club, you've got to work as hard as you possibly can, and until otherwise, or until we find ourselves relegated or whatever it may be, then whoever comes into the Vale squad, they will always be well aware of the fight in hand. So I do, as I said, see both sides of things. That obviously there's a lot of competition, certainly below as well, in the East of Scotland leagues. So it is just going to be interesting to kind of see how it all pans out. But as I say, while we're still in the lower league, we're certainly not going to give up that status easily.
Yeah, agreed, mate. And just finally, have you got any personal sort of thoughts on what should happen? Maybe not necessarily to Vale of Leithen's position, but like, what can you see happen? Say football can't continue, or
it's very difficult. I think the guys at the top of the tree have got quite a hard decision, because I do feel that if you take someone like a Celtic or a Liverpool, for example, you would argue that they deserve the title, which I think every football fan, regardless of their sort of their support and their colours, I think they would have to agree with that. However, is it fair that one or two teams win the league and one or two teams get relegated? I'm not sure that is the right thing. Potentially, I've heard a few boys talking about it. From my angle, I would like to see the sort of teams near the bottom, obviously not getting sort of punished for it, and potentially maybe bringing up teams that were in the hunt for promotions and making it a bigger league, obviously allowing it to sort of filter out the next again season, and everything kind of turning back into normal again. So that's what I would maybe say, is if teams were maybe first, second, third in playoff positions, that would maybe come up, and obviously the teams at the top, I do not know what the argument is for that at the moment, but I do think there's more to be lost for the teams sort of lower down. If you look at Hearts as another example, if they went down to the Championship, it's going to cause uproar. So I'm not sure that punishing the teams at the bottom is the right thing. There's obviously so much time still left to go within the season.
Yeah. I think my position, the whole thing has always been null and void. I know a lot of people, renders meaningless for a lot of people, but I think null and void with the possibility of reconstruction. Maybe, as you mentioned, maybe like the top two teams go up and then no relegations, and then maybe the other top two from the next division go up and stuff like that. I think, but yeah, you said it, mate. It's not going to be an easy decision when we do hear about it. And obviously, as I said, mate, I wish Vale all the best. I wish yourself all the best, and I really hope you are in the Lone League next season, or whenever football continues. I appreciate you talking to me, Ger, and all the best, mate, and stay safe.
Thank you very much. Thanks, as I said, for inviting me on. Thank you.